know, don't we, exactly who rules the roost inside the marriage of Harry and Meghan. And many people might say, well, that's really unfair, of course. But some men, you know, do like to be taken control of. There's no two ways about it. When you look at Harry, I think everything you needed to know about his wife when she turned up finally at the altar on that day, some might say ill-fated day, in St. George's Chapel all the way back in May 2018, he looked relieved. It was almost like his mummy had turned up and now everything was going to be fine. When you look at his history, his back history, you can see exactly how clingy and very demanding he was for his mother's attention. She gave him it, and of course I'm sure if she'd have lived, sadly these sort of problems could have been easily ironed out, but she didn't, and that's the way that Harry finds himself in this particular situation now. But moving forward, when you think about it, really, you would have thought that his wife might be a little bit more supportive, particularly on ventures like this. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, nice to see you, and as ever, thank you so much for enjoying the recent video. Glad you enjoyed the one about the Royal Albert Hall. That created quite a stir. I'm sort of with you, you know, a lot of people say, you know, spirits, ghosts, all that sort of stuff. Do they exist? Well, we can't say we can't. You know, so many people have said yes. Unless you've seen one, you could always be a bit debatable, can't you? I don't know about you, but I've said this to you before. When I'm in these places that have been very old, you kind of think there's a definite presence, but you just don't know if it's the building, the atmosphere, whatever. But there's definitely something, isn't there? But of course, it's an argument that could go on forever. The Royal Albert Hall is a spectacular place, and I just love the fact that the Queen decided a change of name was needed. Talk about girl power, eh? I just love that. Back as ever to your royal story of the day. Now this, as you know, is Prince Harry's foray into New York, and there he is, of course, with all the security, everything that he loves, you know, important me, I'm just as important as my elder brother, His Royal Highness the Prince of Wales. That truly is the problem with Harry. And he's got the world to see that he's important, you know, all the press and you know, remarkably are now tipped off exactly where he's going to be. So consequently, while they may moan about the press, they know they desperately need it. But there was one area, when you think about it, that Harry truly had a huge problem, in my opinion, simply because while addressing the Halo Trust, a charity that's very close, of course, to his heart, and the late Princess of Wales, Princess Diana, well, you could see that obviously some people say he exploits the memory of his mother and he talks about her. That's his prerogative. That's his mum. Whichever way you look at it, you can't take that away, whether it's exploitation or not. Maybe he finds comfort from that. Who knows? But I do find that line a little bit upsetting, because we all love our moms, right? And, you know, you just have to think, well, the bottom line is this is probably how he agrees with it all. But of course, there are things, people might say, exploitation of the highest level. He does seem to bring her out whenever there's a problem that he needs fixing or looking for a bit of sympathy. But in this particular instance, he was talking about how his life has been reshaped since becoming a father, and a father to two children, Harry's children, as we know. Now, what's fascinating here is that this would have been, if you look behind that particular screen, a perfect opportunity to include a heartwarming snap of two children. He could have thrown to it, the crowd would have loved it, the public would have loved it, and it would have been a great sympathetic move. But there's just one problem. The wife, Meghan Markle. Once again, she, according to a very well-placed source, and as ever, we have to say allegedly, refuses to have her children literally put out in public, not without her. Now, you know, as I said, it's a very confusing situation. Quite happy to sell them down the river in the Netflix for money, and of course quite happy to use them in a Christmas card when that was beneficial. But over here, there could not have been a better time in New York for Harry to illustrate just how much they meant to him by simply just flashing up a picture, even for a few seconds. But apparently, according to Meghan, not without me. And that now is the problem that Harry is finding. He can only have half of what he had, simply because if Mummy Meghan says no, then Harry can't do anything about it. Terrible situation to be in, right? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.